In June of 2026, the Recording Academy unveiled a new Best Asian Pop category that isolated contemporary popular music from Asian acts, including releases from the K-pop, J-pop, and C-pop industries. A month later, the 7 members of BTS posted a statement on Instagram announcing their decision not to submit their music at all for Grammy consideration this year. They wrote, "We hope our music can be heard and loved for what it is, rather than being divided by region or language." BTS's decision became one of the most significant entertainment news of 2026, and it received immediate coverage from different news outlets around the world.
A move that has shocked the music industry.
The most popular music group,
BTS announced they will not be submitting.
They will not be submitting their music.
Will not submit music.
They will not submit their music.
No postulará su música.
Que não vai inscrever suas músicas.
Withdraw from consideration.
Passes on 2027.
Grammy상은
2027 Grammy Awards.
Skipping the 2027 Grammys.
Rechazar a los Grammys.
darle espalda a los premios Grammy.
그래미에는 아예 음악을 출품하지 않겠다고 밝혔습니다.
Boycotting the next Grammy Awards.
보이콧 선언으로 해석되는데
Appears to be in protest.
In an apparent protest.
After the Recording Academy added a
New category for Asian pop.
Música pop asiática.
베스트 아시안 팝 뮤직 퍼포먼스는
The new category has sparked mixed reactions.
Sounds like it could be inclusionary, but it's actually
A racialized barrier for Asian performers.
We are not just an Asian group, we are a global pop sensation.
The news agency Reuters described BTS's decision as a boycott to the new Asian Pop Award category, and the Associated Press pointed out that some fans viewed the new category as a racialized barrier for Asian performers.
BTS talks, people listen.
The fact that they made a statement is really considerable. It's not common for artists to announce that they're not submitting for a Grammy nomination.
One of the first media outlets covering the news was Variety, which highlighted that expectations for a first BTS win had been running high heading into the next year's ceremony because of their comeback album Arirang, released after the completion of the members' military service. The record topped Billboard's main singles and albums charts, generating significant global response. The Hollywood Reporter also wrote that BTS, in the midst of a banner comeback year, was an obvious frontrunner for the new category, but the BBC added that the band were widely expected to be in competition for some of the Grammys' major categories, including Album of the Year after their comeback record Arirang became one of the year's biggest sellers.
I respect this move by BTS. Yeah. Clearly, they would win. They're saying, you know what? No, respect us on a broader level.
That's right.
Golf News pointed out that BTS is stepping back in a career-defining year. They wrote, "The decision comes at a time when BTS is enjoying one of its strongest commercial runs." Meanwhile, Vulture argues that BTS's Arirang is not an album that requires more validation. It debuted atop the Billboard 200 with the biggest single week of the year so far, moving more equivalent units than chart toppers like Olivia Rodrigo, Noah Kahan, and Drake. In their home country of South Korea, Arirang sold a staggering 4.2 million copies, so it's not like the group needs a Grammy. CNN pointed out that according to the rules and guidelines, a song is eligible in only one performance category in any given year. So if BTS were to enter a song into the Best Asian Pop Music Performance category, they could not also enter that same song into the wider Best Pop Duo Group Performance category, in which they were nominated in 2021 and 2022 and vice versa.
Entering the new Asian category would rule BTS out of the Best Pop Duo Group Performance race.
I'm not making direct accusations. I'm saying there's a context and a pattern.
that these categories are created to keep them in those groups instead of sort of everybody together.
First Post pointed out that a few see the new category as a stable, guaranteed entry point into the Grammys for Asian artists, but that a significant part of the backlash centered on the sense that the category functions less as recognition and more as a consolation placement, keeping acts like BTS out of the main pop fields altogether. Additionally, The Guardian wrote that the Academy president calling the new Asian Pop and Best Latin Song Awards opportunities to celebrate different and new genres of music was perhaps unfortunate wording, given Asian and Latin pop markets are far from new. Each command vast revenues and audiences, including in the US, after decades of maturity. There have therefore been fears in the Asian pop sphere that the category could end up ring-fencing Asian pop artists away from contention in the top categories. PBS NewsHour also mentioned this concern.
Critics of the new category say say it echoes a long pattern of steering artists into racially and ethnically defined lanes.
NME also covered BTS's decision by sharing their stance against the new category. They wrote, NME previously argued against the creation of a K-pop category. We wrote, pop music is pop music regardless of geographical location, the racial or ethnic identity of those making it, the language it's sung, or any other factor you might choose to segregate people by. Billboard magazine wrote, BTS's decision not to enter their music is a blow to the Grammys' prestige, but the biggest impact could be the Grammy telecast losing a powerhouse draw.
The decision represents a massive financial, cultural, and reputational blow to the Grammys itself.
Consequence also wrote about BTS's history with the Grammys. BTS have a somewhat fraught history with the Grammys. Despite becoming one of the biggest pop acts in the world, the group has yet to win an award after receiving multiple nominations over the years. Time magazine considered that even before they announced their withdrawal from consideration for a Grammy Award, it seemed the band's priorities may have changed. The Grammys was one of the goals that we haven't really gotten in the past, RM told GQ. But I think now the most important thing is just that we're here back together again. We're going to see the fans all over the world. The Washington Post wrote about the history of Grammy boycotts. The group is the latest in a line of artists who have boycotted the Grammys, some over concerns about pigeonholing. They wrote, The New York Times wrote that artist boycotts have been a frequent hazard for the Recording Academy in recent years. Frank Ocean, Drake, The Weeknd, and other top artists have refused to submit their music, often over complaints that the Grammys have frequently failed to recognize artists of color in top categories. Forbes pointed out that BTS's lack of presence in the quote music's biggest stage furthers the group's previously mentioned disdain towards the award show. Paris Match expanded on this idea by writing about BTS's history of standing up for themselves. In 2022, the BTS members announced a break to perform their compulsory military service, ending the relentless debates and political pressures of which they were the first victims. Once again, this Wednesday, they decided to take back their destiny in hand, not wishing to be awarded a consolation prize by an industry that refuses, despite 13 years of career, to see them as equals of Western artists. Cosmopolitan argued that BTS is right to refuse the Grammys' newest category, writing, if they're going to win, it should be a win that's truly earned among the best of the best, not in a tokenized category. BTS has made its stance clear. Art should be judged based on its merits, not on where it was made or what language it's performed in. Teen Vogue wrote, all 7 integrants have been Recording Academy voting members since 2019 and as a group have earned 5 nominations over the course of their careers. However, now that they seem closer than ever to realistically getting their coveted win, their decision to bow out and forego a diluted version of their long-held aspiration is even more commendable, and we need more stances like that. Elle India wrote, when an artist reaches that level of cultural influence, the question is no longer why don't they have a Grammy? It's why does the Grammys still need to convince the world it can recognize artists like BTS? Dazed magazine wrote that BTS were the ones snubbing the Grammys, and the Chilean newspaper El Dinamo wrote that BTS retired the Grammys, because when one of contemporary pop's most influential artists decides they no longer need its validation, prestige shifts places. It's no longer bestowed by the award, it's called into question by the one who can afford to reject it. Maybe BTS didn't retire a category, maybe they started retiring the Grammys. There are thousands of articles I'm not including in this video, but I wanted to highlight this. Most major media outlets asked the Recording Academy for a response to BTS's decision, but they reported that they received none.
CNN has reached out to the Grammys for comment.
We reached out to the Recording Academy for a statement, but we haven't heard back.
About 19 hours after BTS's announcement, the Grammys CEO Harvey Mason Jr. released a statement. This is an extremely rare instance of the Academy responding to an artist's announcement of withdrawal. It reads, I am saddened to hear that BTS has chosen not to participate in the Grammy Awards process this year, but as a music creator, I understand and respect their decision. The Grammy organization is here to serve music and all the people who make it. As we continue to expand the reach, our membership, and our awards, regardless of geography or language, I want to emphasize that we will continue to listen to the global music community and work to honor and celebrate all the artists whose music moves the world. So the global global music community has spoken. Will the Grammys follow their promise and listen to the artists, the media's, and the public's concerns, or will they continue with their no-so-subtle practices of exclusion? The Hindustan Times wrote, "By walking away, BTS has effectively taken one for the team. Whether the Recording Academy takes that message on board remains to be seen, but BTS has unequivocally drawn a line in the sand, forcing the industry to confront its own structural biases regarding fairness and equality. If modern pop music has successfully erased its borders, it is time past for our most prestigious institutions to do the same."